All right, why don't we start the meeting? Pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening. We're here for our zoning board meeting. I'll start with roll call. Howard Burnham.
Present.
Patrice Scott, present. Butch Cushing.
Present.
Homer C. Ahern Jr.
Present.
All right, we are missing Freeman Plummer because of the ice, so he's excused. All right, I would like to see if anybody has any additions or corrections to the minutes. We note that Howard wasn't here last week. I have a few corrections. Most of them are typos on the second page, under, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4th bullet up from the bottom. It's to clarify who asked, who would be in control of what is stored in the storage unit, and how I would insert the owner would go about controlling. It looks like Omer was referring to himself there. And then the next bullet, strike out after however. I would just simplify it and say stored vehicles would be permitted. And on the bottom bullet, change in the second sentence from the bottom. This would cause a problem. And on the next page, there's just spelling errors. Sharon, do I have to correct each one, or just say to correct it? It refers to residences instead of a residence barn a few times, and no one uses now and one. I'm sure it's just typos.
Do the grammar, yeah.
Yeah, there's grammar. And on the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th bullet, I would say,
From the top?
yeah, 5th bullet from the top. David Sanborn stated that he does do them, I'd just say via social media. It's not due to social media, just via. He checks it via social media. Okay, and then, let's see. I reviewed our findings, and I just wondered if we noted whether the abutter objected, but
I don't believe you
we didn't
did.
in the findings, so I just
No.
wondered if it's appropriate to note within the context of the minutes. I mean, she did speak against, she is an abutter, she was identified, the abutter, and also,
I mean, as an omission, you could add that.
yeah, I'm just wondering if we should clarify the two people who spoke
think we
against, the neighbor, and, let's see, where was that then? David Sanborn, okay, there's Eleanor, abutter Natalia, okay. How about if we just said opposed and opposed the application and stated her concerns? And, yeah, and we have Larry Blaine spoke in opposition, okay. So I think that's easy enough to change, just to note that. Does anybody have any other corrections?
I would move the minutes then as amended, Madam Chairman.
Okay, Homer, thank you.
Second.
Which second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and
One abstention.
Howard's abstaining.
Right.
Okay, there's that. Okay, now we have a public hearing on application 110-007, a special exception. It's a request from Kevin French as agent for Eric Bouchard, 28 Railroad Square LLC, for a special exception regarding front and rear setback reduction on PID 110-007 at 28 Railroad Square. The relief is requested from Article 3, Section 304 of the Plymouth zoning ordinance. The property is located in the Village Commercial Zone, and this is a reapplication from an approved special exception which expired before implementation. Okay, before we start, I just want to make sure, Kevin and Mr. Bouchard, are you willing to go forward since we're missing a member? We're down one member. Okay, all right, thank you. So what would you like to present your application? with that? All right.
And like you stated, this actually was an application that we came in for in, I believe, May of 2013, and it was granted to the present, originally this building was located in the Village Commercial Zone, and there was originally a old building there that burned down. The slab was still in place, but the slab actually encroached across the boundary line. The ordinance changed a few years ago and established a 15-foot setback and a 10-foot front setback and a 10-foot setback in the rear. What we wanted to do was keep basically the footprint the same size, but we wanted to move it so that it no longer encroached across the lot line. And what we wanted to do was reduce that down to a 4-foot setback in the front and rear. And this was to accommodate a 6-unit apartment building with underground parking. Before we came to the zoning board first, got the special exception, and then went to the planning board and got site plan approval. And then that had expired, so we came back and went to the planning board and got reapproval there, conditioned upon coming back here and getting reapproval of the special exception. So it's the kind of the same thing, a little
Backwards this time.
way, but anyway, we're hoping for the same results when we're ultimately done.
Okay.
And basically, that's all it was about, was to just really get that building of the same size, more centered on the lot. We did, like I said, we did receive a week and a half ago or so planning board approval subject to this.
Okay, and Kevin, it's going to be a 2-story building, right?
Actually, 3.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask. Do you consider it a 3-story because of the garage underneath?
Well, it's garage parking on the first floor, and then there are 2 stories above that of living quarters, so I'd call it 3 stories.
Yeah, okay, so 3 stories. Okay, does anybody have any questions for Kevin? Any board members?
The rules haven't changed since the last time you
No.
were here.
No.
I don't think was I on the board? when that-
No.
No,
Yeah.
okay, so, the rules haven't changed.
Right, oh, I have one question about the managers, and that was when I was looking over the application and calculating the parking and stuff. The manager unit,
I think you're gonna have an on-site, there is gonna be an on-site manager.
right, and that would be in, say, one of the 3 bedroom units on one, okay. So that effectively eliminates the need for that third, a parking space, you're providing 17, right?
Right,
Yeah,
correct,
so
yeah.
if we
Yeah.
calculated at 3. But
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting, and just wanted to point out to the board members too, that our zoning ordinance actually exempts or accepts the village commercial district from those rules. So we kind of have to extrapolate to figure out how much parking is appropriate. And so there's not violating anything by having 17. And I think that's because the office space is there, that would provide enough space, parking spaces. So I think everything's in order. Why don't I open the public hearing part and ask if there's anybody here in support of the application? Mr. Bouchard?
Like to see it fly.
Okay, Mr. Bouchard is here. Unfortunately, there's no members of the public, so if there's anybody in opposition, there's nobody here to make a statement. So I'll close the public hearing. All right, so would people like to make some findings?
Can we just say refer to the finding of
The
facts?
previous findings?
Yeah.
Yeah, does everybody have that, where we made them before? We could just point out the Article 3, Section 304 of the zoning ordinance. That's what they're requesting relief from. Also, I think number 2 is important of the findings we made the last time. The parcel is .16 acres, and there's no minimum lot size in the village commercial zone. The proposal is for a 3-story high building with parking underneath and no street-level residences. 6 units will be constructed on 2 floors, and the site has town water and sewer available. And we don't have anybody here in opposition or voicing any opposition. And it's actually an improvement over, the proposal will improve a encroachment that previously existed. So I think that's a good finding to make. All right, does anybody have anything else to add? Let's go through our, okay, let's see. Is this the old one, or trying to find my paperwork? Special exception. Okay.
It should be dated on the top of the first page, the planner report, which has the,
Yeah, this is it, November 24th, right, planner review. Let's, if there's anything, it's recommended by the planner. There's no adverse impact to the neighborhood. I think that's also good to note, that it's a mixed-use neighborhood down there. There are other residents and commercial uses. Okay, and that this is actually a renewal of a previous application. Okay, so we can go through our criteria. Number 1, the proposed use shall be only those allowed in the ordinance by special exception. True or false?
True.
Howard? True.
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 Okay, that's unanimous. Number 2, the specific site is an appropriate location and of adequate size for the use.
True.
True?
True.
True.
All right. Number 3, the use as developed will not adversely affect the character of the area in which the proposed use will be located.
True.
I believe that's true,
True.
True.
and I would base that on the mixed use of the neighborhood. Number 4, there will be no nuisance or serious hazard to vehicles or pedestrians.
True.
I believe that's true.
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 All right, and the use will not place excessive or undue burden on town services and facilities.
True.
I believe that's true.
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 There would be no significant effect resulting from such use upon the public health, safety, and general welfare of the neighborhood in which the use would be located.
True.
True?
True.
True.
All right. I believe we,
I'd like to make a motion that we pass, be granted as presented.
okay, Howard moves,
Second?
Butch seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Well, there we have it.
Is that fast enough for you?
Granted.
That was good, yeah. And
All right.
hopefully we won't have to come in and do this again.
Right. Right.
that
Well,
would be the third
hopefully,
strike?
right, that's right. And hopefully we will have not too harsh a winter so you can get it started in time, right?
All winter long.
Right. All right, all right. Well, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
All right. And good luck.
Watch yourself going home. It's awful slippery
Yeah, be
out there. Be careful.
All right, and thanks for your plans. Finally understood something.
What was I supposed to bring in this time? You always
I
want
always
something.
want something. The planning board final approval for,
Yes.
because you're going to put
I
tonight's.
gotta put tonight's
Yeah,
decision
yeah.
up.
Can't hold on to my pen today.
Okay, no, that's fine, just didn't know if you had a change or not.
Oh, that's
When
the
you give me
draft.
the number of that, I can put on, this has a case number, correct? Have a notice of decision or
Yes,
something like that?
yeah,
okay.
yeah, okay.
And I'll put
It
that
won't,
on.
yeah, it's not a case number per se, but yeah.
I'll notice of decision or blessing, whatever.
Dispensation.
All right, do we have any unfinished business?
I just have a question about because everybody else is off the board next year, okay?
Okay.
Did the selectmen do anything about that? So that all people coming on and off the board don't come on, because you have
Well,
four,
at
I mean,
once,
there's-
yeah.
you have
there's-
4 people coming off next year.
There's 2 ways to go about it, to obviously plump up the board's membership. I don't know, we could take that up with town council, because it's been hit or miss, and that's the problem. It's kind of gotten out of sync of
Right.
itself.
Right.
So, yeah, you're right.
Okay,
It
well,
really needs to be addressed.
yeah,
You know, we wouldn't have a school board where 4 people are coming off at the same time, or a select board.
Yeah, I mean, you were at such a dearth of membership for so long that everybody's terms caught up to each other, and
Right.
right, right. Well, I would just say if there's anybody out there listening that would like to be on the zoning board, we'd appreciate having members, and we'd love to train you as an alternate and then move into a slot. It's always good to have as many people as possible involved. And the one thing I wanted to note was simply that when I was going through this on the parking, that in village commercial is completely exempted. So if in the future, I mean, this is one of those areas of the zoning ordinance that we could look at to correct if we care to have any kind of regulation on parking, because right now it's exempt from the parking requirements.
Right.
Okay? But other than that, I think, do we have new business?
no, ma'am.
No?
Can I bring something up?
Okay.
I don't know, if, probably I'm incorrect and inappropriate in bringing this up, but I think too many times there's too many signs out there in front of the town hall, you know, in that little, by the roundabout. When you've got like 3 or 4 big sandwich signs, I think it impedes the seeing the traffic. I was at the post office one day, and I heard a screeching of brakes, and 2 people got out of their cars right at that intersection and started screaming at each other. So I'm concerned, you know, maybe one sign, and I know I'm not going to be very popular with the Rotary Club, of which I'm a member, because we had our big, you know, penny sale sign out there, and then there's skates for sale, and then the college, Silver Hall has sometimes its thing out there, and then sometimes there's a sandwich sign for something going on down by the river, and I'm concerned about safety there. And again, I had one situation that I personally heard where 2 cars, you know, and 2 drivers came to almost blows because not being able to see there. Maybe this is an inappropriate place. I think signs is under our jurisdiction, but
Right, well, yeah, the placement of them is, but I would just suggest, you know, when you see something like that or have a concern like that, bring it to Brian Murphy's attention.
And I feel the same way about the traffic. I mean, the crosswalks on Highland Street, going up Highland Street, they're very hard to see.
yep.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially when the kids wear dark
The best
clothing.
traffic, the best one is right down here, that they painted the whole thing going across the road. That's really the only one you can really see going across the road, so.
Yeah, all right, well, I think any kind of concern that, like, of safety, we should just first call to Brian, okay?
Make a motion that we
Thank you.
adjourn?
All right, yep, move to
Second.
adjourn, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.